Welcome. Thank you. I know it's just me again, but I promise you it wasn't meant to be me. Dave has this habit of saying, I've just been held on at work. I'm going to be slightly late. So no pressure on me. It's not a problem. How are you all? He is going to join us later. He promises me, but he does lie a lot. I think he just likes to throw me into it and see me struggle and things. But then I'd do the same if I was him. But I promise you he will come here. To Dave's Facebook followers, welcome. Thank you. I know I feel a bit of a cheat actually coming on because you're following Dave's Facebook and I'm hijacking you, but he is going to be here, I think. But the trouble is he's too good because yesterday he sent me a little voice message because he tends to do that when he's busy doing stuff on a WhatsApp voice thing, and he's like, he was out of breath. He was, oh yeah, it was amazing. We just managed to get this guy hiding in a bush. We went past the motorway, across the motorway, so that was really quite difficult. But we managed to get it to halfway, and then we managed to get it to the other half, and then had to close the slip road because it was really dangerous. But then of course the dog tracks right down, and then she gets distracted by a few police cars. I mean, this was just last night. Distracted by a few police cars, and then she had, no, Dad, definitely this way. This is how he talks. She went, no. So, obviously, Hero went, no, this way, Dad, this way, Dad. I'm sure he's up here. And this bush was so thick. I'd love to have played you the message, but it is when the adrenaline gets him, there's a few F's and blinds in there. He's like, oh, it was effing brilliant. So I can't say that because someone will complain about him. But we tried to keep the complaints down to minimum. So I thought today, in the meantime, what I really want to go show you first of all is this stuff here, because this was really important. Let's get the admin over. And this is this one, ladies and gentlemen, the eyes have it. So this was last Friday, Finn's Law Part 2. That's extra protection for all animals from cruelty and neglect. And neglect is as bad as cruelty in my view. And so it moves on to the next level. Now, all this, I don't know if you're fully fledged with this, but the committee stage means nothing to me, but it's just one better than the second reading, I assume. And it means it's got to the next stage. So time is short and there's much work to be done. Today is a big step forward, albeit long-awaited big step forward. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so that's really cool. So, and obviously Finn's the ambassador for that side of things. So really good work for Dave. I tell you what, if he doesn't get a blooming OBE out of this when all this is done, I do not know what happens. While he's not here, I'll bloody nominate him, that's for sure. And so give me some details of people who can influence that, because it needs to be done. It'd be an absolute travesty if he doesn't. He's a good man. I remember once in the summer that was turning into lager, and I had to put a sticker on it saying not lager. Cider as well. Nice hot sunny days. Miserable day today, and I must admit I was a little bit upset today because, well, in fact, I'm going to get rid of my badge. There's comments. Hello, right. Maria says, hello, Harry. Just got back from a short swim. I mean walk. Right, okay. See, I thought she was really showing off there because somebody else has been showing off beautifully and stumping what I thought was a good effort today. With my small lap German Shepherd, out Malinois. Is that how you pronounce it? It isn't, but so forgive me. Let's bring that one up. He and his friends had a real good bark for Finn on Thursday in the dog park. Fantastic. I don't know if Arthur would do that on command. I try to. It doesn't work with him. He's just like gives me an indignant look, really. Where's this thing? This is what I wanted to get up, because these are the things you go on to it, and I put a little advert on it in the woods, and it's lovely. I love it. As long as you're dry, you can really, really wrap up well. And then I said, I've just been to the woods with Arthur, feeling good, and then I see this. Look at this. Let's get that bit bigger. I need to get that bigger. You see all my other photographs here now. There you go, John Bradford. After a tough few days, I really needed to achieve something, feel good about myself, and gain some inspiration. A sub 5-hour virtual New York marathon was just a ticket. I'll be in bed recovering for the rest of the day if anyone needs me. So he's done the equivalent of New York Marathon. The absolute sod. You know, I felt good taking Arthur for a walk. But this is just saying what I did today as well. Got to show you this, because we went here. This has pretty much a zero COVID thing at the moment. And I'll tell you why. Because as far as I'm aware, cows and sheep don't have COVID, right? So that's where I went, Dartmoor. And good thing about it, I took my son wild camping, and he's 21, and it was just him, me, and Arthur, you know, my two sons. And it's just brilliant. I want to know, right, we had beef burgers for dinner. I had to feed him well, because usually I'm quite strict with him. It's like, you know, make it yourself and do all that. And I just get overruled completely by my wife. She just mother cuddles him, you know, standard husband-wife thing. God, I said it now. I'm going to get loads of people saying that's rubbish. So anyway, hi everyone. Thank you for all your comments. I am going to read through the comments very shortly. Oh, someone's followed us from YouTube. Maria, we're trying to build the YouTube thing up. Shed it onto my TV. I was dry until I got home, and my idiot spills his water bowl over my feet in the hallway. Yeah, well, this was me. So this was wild camping. Rowan took the photograph. There you go. It is just the best. I do love it. It's out of the middle of nowhere. It's an hour and a half full on trek with a very heavy pack, because you've got to get all the food and beer in there. And with a tent, storm force winds it was. I mean, really storm force winds. But I knew I've got a good tent. So that is a necessity. That's when we came home. Now, people like Mike Pannett, hardened northerners, would laugh at that and ask if I took that in the middle of the winter last year. But, you know, in the interests of looking after the welfare of my dog, I thought it was obviously nothing to do with me, clearly. I thought it would be beneficial to put the heating on for Arthur. But yeah, and just so you know that I haven't been neglecting or being cruel to my dog. This is his bed while we're on Dartmoor. There we go. That's quite a lot. There he is. Snugged up. Right, that there, that's the same, right? That is a mini hot water bowl that my wife made me bring that he is now cuddling up to. How ridiculous is that? Anyway, he slept between my son and me, lengthways like that, under a jacket, under a quilted jacket. So he was absolutely warm as toast. Dartmoor looks amazing. Welsh Hills are full of Muppets at the moment. Well, maybe not today. No, it's true. Dartmoor it's flatter, but it's boggier. So your feet stick right in. So that's why it's tough. Excuse me for all these calls. Very unprofessional. I'm going to turn my sound down a little bit. I'm just seeing if Dave... No. Right. My son, my brother's daughter in Norway has just passed a motorcycle test. That's mixed blessings there, isn't it? So here we go. And where have we got now? And I think just to let you know, just so you know that we get fed very well. This was dinner, which I gave my son. So I have photographic evidence. So my wife knew that her poor 21-year-old son was not being neglected himself. There we go. Burgers like that. And I think the next one, the last one, there he is. He was like a little firefly running around. But that was my weekend, was it? Monday. I think it was probably a Monday because he had a bit of time off. So that was good. What's everyone else been doing? Because the weather is so blooming awful at the moment. All 40 kilos of me nearly took off with a tent like a human kite last time Donna put up a pitched tent in the wind. It can become a very large box tent, box kite rather. Yeah, it is. There's a fair bit of splaying yourself over it if it gets like that. Got you on YouTube now, streaming to my TV. Wow, I'm really big. I'm really big in your TV, in your 48-inch, 3-inch plasma. Like that. I couldn't think of anything worse than me staring into your lounge like that. Yeah, Sue Blackthorne, Dartmoor. It's a fantastic place. Spent a lot of my childhood there. I used to share a small tent with a Welsh collie, no fixed ground sheet. So it was a trial if it rained. Now, I've looked for Arthur all over the house, can't find him. Sometimes he just hides under a bed somewhere. And he didn't want to come out and play. But basically, genuine story. I chose Arthur because I needed him the right size to fit down my sleeping bag, because I do a lot of, like, certainly in the past, Lake District, now Dartmoor, back on Dartmoor with Truro School for Duke of Edinburgh when it all kicks off again. So that'll be good. Right, news of the week really is this. It's been the 17-year-old, isn't it? 17-year-olds as the new recruitment age, and there's toing and froing and lots of opinions on that. I was on Times Radio this morning with Hugo Rifkin. Hugo Rifkin. That's not a commoner's name, that, is it? Old Hugo down the estate. Hugo Rifkin. Sorry, Hugo, although he won't be listening. Really good, real fun little panel show. It was fun. There was a few. There was Slister on there, and there was Alfie Moore, who is the comedian police officer who's taken a bit of time out. Really good after the speeches he does and all that. It was just, I think the general gist was, do you know what? That absolutely nothing against young people. My view was, if they are, my view is, if they, you could get, the trouble is, coming out straight from college, you are protected by your parents who pay for everything, the college who give you a secure surrounding, and you're going straight into the police where you are still really a student. And I'm finding from recruiting that some really top recruits, the end result is really looking good. But the concern is they are very much student officers still, not. And the concept of a disciplined service is completely unique to them. Not that they're not disciplined, but they're not used to it, because college and so is not that way. So, right. So that was the general view. So nothing against them, but I think it was throwing them under the bus. If I do see you there, Dave, and you're coming on in any second now. Thank you. It's been brilliant that you've been able to make it. But yeah, that was my feeling. You're throwing them under the bus wheels, really, because there's so many ways to get into trouble, and the IOPC could to look at them, and I think just leaving it another year or two to cut those apron springs, get a little bit of a bit of confidence, learn your own confidence, see a bit of conflict and whatever, and then join. And then I think we'll have them for a lot longer rather than burning them out. Dave, thank you. Where's my cursor? Here it is. Yes. Fantastic, Dave. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, mate. Hello. Sorry.
I'm so glad you're here. I was boring myself, quite frankly.
Part-time partner that takes all the glory, aren't
I?
Sorry,
well, I don't know how much glory there has been to take recently with me on this thing, but I
listened to your last week's with Feastus, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And
he's a top guy, isn't he?
He is, yeah. And the family have brought me up to date with what you've said so far today. You're all right. Yeah.
Oh no, there's spies in the woods. Okay, yeah. Right.
Yeah, okay. There's spies everywhere, mate.
Well, I take it all back, Dave. I'm sorry, mate. I didn't mean to be quite so, Or they didn't tell you that bit, right?
So, yeah. What up to?
Oh, mate.
You went on the moors, didn't you? I know you've already spoken about this, but I'm
No, it's okay. Well, I'm doing the recce for us. You, me, and Finn. Sure. Will Finn be able to do an hour and a half walk?
Yeah, he'll be all right. He'll be good. Yeah. He'll be
good.
Right. I'll carry him.
Yeah. Well, we'll carry him between him. We'll bring him a stretcher just in case he gets a bit tired. But I mean, yeah, that would be really good. We've got to do it. I suggest somewhere about maybe March or something might be nice.
Yeah. When we can wear shorts and t-shirts and cowboy hats and Brokeback Mountain. Yeah.
Yes, it will be. There is absolutely no reception out there, so there will be no live Brokeback Mountain Facebook.
No one will be able to come and save me when I say, Harry!
Well,
no, it's been a romance, but I didn't mean it like that.
Somebody said, I said, oh, Dave, this has been a massive misunderstanding. I do apologise.
Somebody bury me on the moors.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of bodies there, I'm sure, but most of them are probably 1,000 years old. But
when you first started in the police,
yeah. How things when TikTok wasn't there, but anyway,
La 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 la.
hey, there's a place called Brown's House on Dartmoor.
Yeah.
And it was when getting the students there when they were doing the Duke of Edinburgh Award. So I'd be a sort of a helper monitor sort of thing. And I've done that for a long time now. And then you could see them looking for, I said, can I just give you a clue? It's not a granite building with double glazed windows, all right? It is like 3 little granite blocks. This is Brown's House. This is the trouble. That is a feature on Dartmoor.
Not much else survives on Dartmoor, I wouldn't think.
Oh, yeah, no, brilliant. It's good. I mean, Arthur was like a little firefly running around. He's just a little white torch. It was
amazing. Did you put the videos of it on your Twitter?
Yeah, I basically videoed some of the sound, the storm at night, and it's weird because you are a millimeter the other side of 2 layers of material, and it's like the coziest thing. You're warm as toast.
Yeah,
and it's like. Absolutely, it's like you're in the middle of the Atlantic up a tall ship mast. Honestly, it's unbelievable. But Arthur was he just dug in. You're gonna have to spoon Finn just to make sure the body heat is maintained.
Finn's used to it. Don't worry.
For Finn, I was going to say. Or does he spoon you? But I don't know. But I can't.
No, he gets hot and he gets all humpty and moves off and goes and what keeps my feet warm. So he'll only spoon for a amount of time. But Harry, when he stops spooning me, I'm sure you'll be there ready to jump in.
I mean, just shout out, mate. I'll be in the next 10. I don't know if it's the smells you give off or Finn gives off, but they're a lot less for Arthur. Although debatable, quite frankly, debatable. The worst thing was when he farted and then left the tent himself. I thought that was a bit rude. Is what Arthur did, but there we go. So no, but anyway, March booked, got to be done. That would be good. Oh, Dave's frozen. You're frozen. Oh, he has. Grimes Pound, isn't it? Grims Pound. Yes, Sue. I think they're pretty much everyone. I'm just waiting for Dave to come back because he's frozen a little bit. Good afternoon. That's Andy Bell, who isn't Andy Bell. Oh, you're coming back. There you are. Dave, you're back in the house. How are you?
Am I back in the house?
Yeah.
I'm guessing somebody went on the internet. No. How dare they?
Oh, did they? What? My son plays League of Legends with my daughter who's in north of the country, and he's frozen again. And this League of Legends, it's just a computer game that saps a lot of Wi-Fi. But anyway, he's stuck it on the TV. He's not playing it. He's watching people play it. And I said, how much? There's a full-on competition. I said, how much is the winners? He said, £1 million. They're on the semi-final right now. £1 million. The winners they're like a little team each, back team of 6. £1 million. And it's the same people in the semi-finals as last year. So I'm saying, right, Rowan, where I've been telling you to get off your computer and do something useful, I'm saying, oi, get back in your bedroom, get on that computer, stop playing League of Legends.
Am I back now, Harry?
You're back. I had to fill again for you. There's not even any abuse coming on the comments, which is a bit disappointing. Oh, what I wanted to say, right. Oh, Donna, this is useful, actually. Yeah, Dave, you're back again. We're talking about 17-year-olds, and I just want to know, actually, put it out there, any funny stories that people have when they joined their first job, not police necessarily, but anything where you really embarrassed yourself, because I certainly have that. Myself. Sally, yeah, exactly that. I started a career in nursing at 17, and that's the same concept. I also think there's maybe stuff 17-year-olds don't necessarily need to be exposed to, life experience first. Yeah, I think it's right in the thick of it, is my personal view. Why hurry? I know why. They're worried they'll lose those that go off for different careers because they can apply earlier. But are they dedicated enough then in that case? So I think they've got to be so careful. In 2023, there's going to be 1/3 of the police service in the whole country less than 23 years old.
I do think that's quite a scary prospect, isn't it? Really, don't you think?
I do. The whole shape is going to change. Yeah,
there are some incredible youngsters out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but I would. Yeah. I mean, I joined at 26, and I wasn't ready to join until I was 26. I know you started quite young, and Gemma, my wife, started quite young, but I certainly wasn't ready until that age, until 25, 26.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I was 21, and I felt a total baby. You know, I mean, I was all right. I know. I was leading that. I was tell you, I went. Honestly, we did a search.
I love her. She's lovely. She's a lovely lady.
I did a search of a house, right? And I was with my tutor, and so we go in and we're searching the house for drugs and things. I can't remember if she'd been arrested, but she was there, and she was clearly a long-term drug addict. She wasn't looking too good, you know, very gaunt and whatever. And she was sitting there like that, and so I'm searching, and I find the needles. They're all packed and in standard medical sort of, and they've marked insulin across the line. And so I said, oh, and it's obvious these were for replacements. For used needles, you get new needles. It was that time. I go, oh, who's the diabetic here? Because I saw insulin on the needle, right? There was a bit of silence, and then, and the woman went. She went, oh, bless him.
Yeah. Oh, he has such a sheltered life over the nookie.
And then, yeah, exactly that. And then my tutor went, oh, he's new. Oh, honestly, if the ground could have swallowed me up.
Yeah.
But I just spoke before I thought, which isn't. I never got over that. Never got over speaking before I thought, actually.
No. That's something you still struggle with, Harry.
Well, I've just stopped trying to hide it now. Yeah.
Well, I heard you did the update on Finswell Part 2, so thank you very much for that. Wonderful. We still got a long way to go. We still need people to keep up the pressure on their MPs and get that committee stage. Committee stage basically, Harry, means they go through the proposed piece of legislation word by word, line by line, full stop by full stop, and just to make sure everyone's happy and people can put in amendments.
Okay.
So we need it needs to be done before the session ends. We don't really know when the session ends, but we think it's going to be springtime, which sounds a long time away, but in politics, it's not a long time away at all. So there's a very good chance it could fail again just because of time.
Right.
We need to keep up the pressure, but we have been assured that there are things in place if that does happen. So we will wait and see. The other big thing from us this week.
In Blueport.
Look at these lovely challenge coins, by the way. They'll be on the website.
Oh, challenge coins. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I have one of them. Yeah.
In Blueport, we have partnered, or they have partnered with Animal Friends, the insurance company. They've given us an amazing donation of £50,000 to help treat their 130 dogs we have signed up at the moment, and that's growing every day. But also, the one of the main reasons the partnership with them is so important is the other things that they can offer us. It's too early to talk about them yet, but I can promise you they're exciting. They'll be for serving dogs and retired dogs, and it'll all be about prevention and how to stave off some of these things that retired dogs suffer with, so that they can have a long, happy, pain-free retirement. So just because we've been given this 50 grand, please don't think, oh well, I don't need to.
Yeah, I was going to say that's going to soon be swallowed up when some treatments are thousands of pounds. How many stages is there till we get Finn's Law?
Right.
How do you pronounce that? Demeter Harmon.
Yeah, she's lovely.
Go for that.
Massive friend of Finn's. She hasn't met him yet though. So first reading is normally like the opener, and that's when it gets out there. Second reading is when you get to see what the bill looks like. So it's got all the wording. Then it goes to committee stage, and that's where they go through it and they can add amendments or talk about amendments. Then it comes back for a report stage, which is normally done at the same time as the third reading. So they come back, they talk about what happened in the committee and any promises going forward. Third reading normally at the same time. And if that goes through, it then goes to the Lords, where all of that starts again. So there's 8, if you include royal assent, 9, Once it's got royal assent, it comes back to the House of Commons to become an act. So 10 stages.
And each stage could be 6 months apart on average.
Well, it could be, yeah, it could be. I mean, with Finn's Law, they were sort of roughly 3 months apart-ish. Right. So we really are short on time if they're saying the session is going to end in spring. It can be done, but we need all the stars to align. There's huge... there's a lot of people that want it to happen, and very influential people that want it to happen. And
that's
some amazing organisations like Battersea and Cats Protection and Dogs Trust and RSPCA, and I haven't mentioned them all.
Brilliant!
All pushing for it. So we'll get there in the end.
Good, Lauren. Thank you. Personally, I think we all need to learn. Maybe the answer would be to learn with supervisors like doctors. Yes, but the problem is, Lauren, when a third of your population in the police is less than 23. What I'm finding now, you're having tutors who have got just over 2 years in the service themselves. So you haven't got the old wise owl that used to, and I think it's just when there's, especially in protests and things like that, it's nice to have a bit of maturity in there, and everyone feels that confidence, that natural leadership. So it's absolutely nothing against young people. 17, they wouldn't be on the streets at 17, they'd be on the streets at 18. It's that whole application process and getting in. But personally, I think the exceptional ones in at 19 are a really good idea, but not the norm. And I don't personally, my personal view is there aren't going to be any exceptional circumstances for an 18-year-old. I think they're going to struggle. I think it's unfair on them personally. But
like someone said earlier, Sally, was it? Some of the stuff we see. That's an awful lot to see at such a young age, on such a young, itchy brain. Still, it's a lot to see.
And it's just I'm not confident that the leadership is there. Not that they're lacking it, but the numbers of leadership isn't there. You know, you've got so many acting sergeant positions, acting inspectors, because the numbers aren't there to say, right, there is a process, and they do go out with tutors as such, but once they're out of that process, they're in the thick of it. And you know, it's a bit like me 30 years ago. I was given a set of keys and told to get on with it. You know, I couldn't believe it. I thought, what? Gonna trust me?
I know, yeah. You know, there's other things as well, like that support network needs to, I mean, it's getting better all the time, and there's some amazing charities out there and stuff supporting cops dealing with some of the stuff that they see. But I think that needs to get a bit better too, if you're going to expose these youngsters to that sort of thing. But I'm sure we'll get there.
You're Tracy, 17-year-old army. Personally, I think that's different. At great risk at saying that. I don't think there's less responsibility. They're given a gun and whatever, but they wouldn't be setting, you know, they would have a hell of a lot of their colleagues there with them in the army, and they to go into a hostile village and to clear it or whatever. They're not sent single crewed with a rifle to sort that village out, which is the difference.
I've never been in the army, but I work with a great number of people that do, who are amazing cops. And you know, John Nichol was in the army, and I'm sure he joined quite young. But I agree. I think, you know, in our job, and I've said this before, and I think most people agree with me, once you've passed as a cop, you're out there all the time. You're on operation, if you like, in army terms, all the time. There is no 3-month deployment and then you come back for 9 months of training. You are always out there. So it is slightly different to the military. And Harry and I are certainly not saying that the military is any less than us. I didn't join the army because I couldn't. I wouldn't have been able to cope with it.
But I think generally I'm saying the support is there in numbers, and there are people, you know, you're not going to be leading something into war when you haven't had any experience and you're 17.
Yeah, I mean, their training is absolutely incredible. Julie, that is a really good question. It's got lots of answers. I mean, I wouldn't not put the sentences up just because it might not discourage people to commit that sort of crime. I think it will always have a deterrent factor. Hopefully, you know, murder is life imprisonment, and it's not life imprisonment some of those people can't be turned around. So that doesn't mean you shouldn't give them life imprisonment. I think we'll always have a deterrent factor. At the moment, it's 6 months, and you're lucky. Well, you're not lucky. There's very few people that actually get the full whack 6 months. If we've always said that if prison sentences are given alongside life lessons and trying to rehabilitate these people, then it's got to be a good thing. But if you, I'm not going to go into detail, but if you chop your cat's head off for fun, there's something wrong with you, and you probably shouldn't be in society for a little while. There you go.
Great. Even I can follow that one, Dave. Thanks. What I will say, right, Dave, discuss. What's this one then, mate?
Oh, right. So I better get this right, otherwise I'll have the whole police orchestra coming to beat me up. So the British Police Symphony Orchestra are raising money for the Blue Lamp Foundation, which is a wonderful police charity. So tonight at 5:45, we want as many people as possible to go out, stand on the doorsteps, get your torch out, shine it in the sky, and if you could go to the Blue Lamp Foundation and donate anything at all you can to support these important police charities, helping families and police officers that have dealt with and some that haven't made it through some horrific incidents. So today the David Band's Blue Lamp Foundation. You know who David Band is, don't you?
Not long after this then, mate, really. Oh yeah, what have you got? Let's see.
That's the t-shirt that we were wearing. Cool. So anybody who doesn't know who David Rathband is, a wonderful cop who was sat on a motorway bridge looking for baddies when someone came and unloaded a shotgun in his face. Yeah, basically.
It's a tragic story from start to finish, that one, isn't it? Really?
Absolutely.
Yeah, bless him. Oh, Finn's come to join you. Sat next to you, is he?
No, he's off.
No,
someone's cooking dinner, so it smells delicious over there. So he's off.
Cracking, mate. Yeah, well, you do make me feel incredibly inadequate with all you do for your voluntary stuff, mate. So I'm very, very impressed. But I was just, I was saying about you've been pretty busy last night, and you've been catching the baddies again, haven't you?
Well, mate, dog handling, you get out what you put in, and I'm really lucky. I work with an incredible team who are out there smashing it. So I mean, I don't think I'm a particularly good cop. What I'm good at is turning up to your job and helping you as best I can. But some of the guys I work with and gals I work with are incredible cops, and they're out there smashing it, getting some incredible results. Some of these people would not be found if it wasn't for these amazing dogs. So you get out what you put in, and I do put in a lot of effort with my teammates to train our dogs and ourselves to be as good as we possibly can. And so, it's been quite a good week. Hero and her brother, Hector, have had some absolutely marvellous results. And it's such an adrenaline buzz when you do, hoik that baddie out of the bush. I love what I do.
I loved it. I would have loved to have. Obviously, I'd have asked your permission because there's ongoing things in my but yeah. No, it was brilliant. It was just great. And you just thought, I want to be out there with him. I want to give me a dog. I want to do
it. A retired dog handler, a mate of mine, and he was like, "Oh my god, I was buzzing just listening to it."
Fantastic. But it's things like that though that you got, and that again where maturity comes into it a little bit is that somebody you said that at 17 you feel like you could take on the world and you're a little less wise, and there's no criticism, we were all naive and inexperienced at one point. We all were, right? So there's not putting anyone down who isn't. But it just shows it's something like that. For example, the motorway, the younger you are, probably more likely you are to go, it'll be all right. That's how our pilots and Spitfires went away every flight, because they said, cool, of course we'll make it. Of course we'll get back, So there's no difference with the generations. Whereas, now we're a little bit more, right, okay, is this achievable? Is it worth the risk, And then sometimes it goes too far the other way, I think. Sometimes we think, well, how many times have I quoted to bosses, sometimes policing's dangerous. We have to do it. And they go, oh, yeah.
In a world where we are obsessed with health and safety, our job is still dangerous.
Yeah, it is. But then I also think, if you look at all the, if you look at 999, what's your emergency? I think building is pretty dangerous. If you're a builder, you've got a good chance of losing your fingers or, busting your back up for a little bit or whatever. So Melanie, your son will join the force. Congratulations to him. If he's actually got through, I take it, and his specials experience. My specials experience was just perfect to give yourself a really good idea what it's like. You can do it when you want to, when it fits in with your life. And it's just lovely to get away from the mundane side of just life. Like then I was lifeguarding. I was then working in a leisure centre. And it was great to go out.
You in your tight shorts on the beach, strutting.
I won't put my Speedo one in here then. No, don't. See the followers just plummet. Find we're talking to ourselves. He witnessed his first sudden death at 21 within a couple of weeks of training. I think a couple of extra years of maturity will help. I mean, yeah, that's fine. But I think they could probably do that when you think that's the bit I'm not worried about. The bit I'm worried about is the confrontation. What did somebody say to me in recruiting? And this was somewhere in the force. They said, so I said, what's the age we're getting in recruiting at the moment in our police services in the country? And what are they like? And they said, you know what? We're turning out some really good people. And this was from a hardened frontliner. He hasn't been in recruiting all his life. So it's not like he's like, you could maybe say, is he slightly biased? And he said, no, we're putting out some really top people, which was really encouraging. And the qualification apprenticeship side of things is working. It's good. But he said, remember, universities have got their own agenda here. Yeah. And each force, we have got some old sea dogs in there that are desperately trying to maintain the ethics and the professionalism that's in there. Now, that means that's varying all over the force, that side of things. So it's one thing to learn two-dimensionally about the law. It's another to have all the bits from an experienced officers, that. And he said, and I do get some. They said you tend to find the students, college students that have come in, tend to be still students, and the concept of a disciplined service is completely alien to them. They don't understand it. Yeah, because they've been calling their teachers John up until then. So they've never experienced it. So how can you expect? So I don't know. How's it going to go in the next few years, Dave? You're going to have to.
Well, I think the organisation may have to change if that's the route they want to go down, and if they want students, then the organisation may well have to change. I don't know.
My worry has always been we were always put up to be the best police force and police service or whatever you call it in the world. And what differed with us when I was in there, I think, was the pension was good, the community within the policing was good, it was lovely and all that. And I see that going more and more. My brother's lived in France all his life, and he said there's good cops there without a doubt, but people would risk cops would maybe risk a little bit more, the discipline would become less, because what was the term we always heard, Dave? I wouldn't risk my pension on that. I wouldn't risk my pension on that. Well, when your pension's worth risking on it, what are people going to do?
But look at the other side of it. I mean, policing is weird. I mean, they're looking. Normally, it's 30 years, but it's not going to be 30 years anymore. It's going to be 40 or 43 years. But what other profession, apart from maybe doctor, and which if you do that profession, you can still go off in different directions, would you do a job of 43 years? I've got brother-in-laws and sister-in-laws that change their job every year to 18 months.
Yeah. No, I think it's going to be. I think on paper it's 40 years, but I think that was a purposeful thing to. It's like Alfie Moore was saying on Times Radio. He said, basically, Windsor made it that to dissuade people from using it as a career thing and turning it more into a military side of things. So I
think as well for the organisation that, would you want someone to stay with you for 43 years and then take on all their knocks and niggles and their mental health complaints and their pension and stuff like that. No, I mean, surely for the organisation.
So you just froze. Oh, you're back with us, Dave. I think you froze, mate.
You're sorry, right. I was just saying, do you want someone for 43 years because you take on all their liabilities and all their knocks and niggles and health complaints and mental health and their massive pension problem? Or do you want them to stick around for 5 years and then go elsewhere? I imagine you want them to stick around for 5 years.
Yeah. In which case, then, expect a hit and run police service, really, where people are a little bit more, well, it's not my problem. Is it, whereas with a vocation, it's your life. Therefore, you want to improve those people, those people. I could be wrong. Be wrong. I just think military is like 8 to 9 years generally, isn't it? Unless you stick around for a lot more promotion and higher, that side of things. But it's such a complicated thing, especially with youngsters at the moment dealing with mental health and domestics. I mean, I said earlier, I went to a domestic as a 19-year-old special constable, and he was in my face. He was saying, what do you know about it, you little pipsqueak, coming in my house telling me how to do it.
Honestly, your first girlfriend at that age, had you, Harry?
No, I still haven't had my first one. But anyway, so by the time I'd left that house, Dave, I was a married father of 2 children going through a divorce and going through bankruptcy. I lied out of my teeth, but it got me the credibility. Now, I say I don't think that police training college would say, right, kids, when you get into your...
Today's lesson.
Yeah. But I tell you what the lesson was.
It's how not to get your head kicked in.
It was having confidence. It's having confidence to say, this might work. Because there's no one else to go here. No, an interesting time. We all know things change. Things have always changed. But I've never had so many concerns. I mean, even in the last... concerns over the last 2 years, the way things are going, really. 3 years. Well, since the Theresa May thing, I think, is 5. Has that been going on about 5 or 10 years now?
I don't know. It goes back to 2008, isn't it?
Blimey.
Oh, is that wrong? No, that was Mr. Cameron, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, there has. I mean, I've had the same sort of concerns, but we'll have to wait and see and see.
Make the best of what there is.
Experts on the case looking into it all and trying to figure it all out.
Mandy, are you going to write another book? Dave and Harry. Dave, are you going to write another book?
I would love to. I really enjoyed writing a book. Harry's very good in that he can somehow switch off. I mean, you see what he's like. He's got ants in his pants, but he somehow manages to switch off and give himself a few hours a day to sit and write. But I'm a bit stupid, so if a butterfly flies past the window, I'm like, woo, look at that. I'd rather look at that. I'd rather, flick between stuff than my brain's a bit wired wrong. So I need to train myself to sit and do.
You're being over generous again, because the reason I am is because you do all this voluntary stuff that takes up your life, takes you all over the country when you're able to. And you have a full-time job policing all shifts, front lines and whatever. So you're trying to recover from night shifts. And I have sod all to do. And so I'm doing podcasts and I'm doing, Eton College asked me to speak there. So I spoke at Eton College. They said, we'd normally have you up here for lunch, and for dinner.
Subtitles.
So I said, I was giving Eton College boys my worldly wisdom. I tell you what, I thought cracking, because, people always take the mick about, bloody, prime ministers and all that and all that. There's a list of very influential people that have come from Eton College. And what an ideal opportunity to get in there about the truths behind policing at the moment.
Yeah. How do you know? Is it anywhere? Can we watch it anywhere, or is it all?
No, you can't. It's obviously quite carefully, because there's boys from 13 to 18. The lad was called Henry that approached in my Twitter direct messages, didn't say where he'd come from, where he was, what his college was, just asked if I had an email. And I said, well, is there anything you can say here, that I can help you with, rather than an email? He says, well, just that my college won't allow me to speak through this. If we can via email, that would be good, because that's to go through his, So then he wrote me a thing saying, we have this group, this club that meets in the evening, every evening, and anyone could come in from the college. And I looked down and it's got Eton College. So what a modest young lad. his organisation, superb. The way he dealt with it, and the way I couldn't say no in the end, could I? But
did they come to you and say, we want you to talk about this or answer this, or did you have a list of questions, or did
he said
first? Because you're a controversial man, Harry.
I'm not really. I'm pretty staid, really. But no, he didn't, and it was very much sort of, we would love you to speak at our college. Says, because we don't normally have people like you. Do you know the guest the week before was something head of MI6 up until 2016?
Oh my god, that's amazing. That is.
And I did such great feedback the next day, and I said, oh, they were really enthusiastic about it, and they said it was really. I put a few Worry photographs and stuff on there and stuff, but yeah.
Well done, mate. Incredible.
But no, to answer your thing about my book, okay, I might as well say I've pretty much finished it, but it's not a book like you think it is. I'm rewriting the Oxford Dictionary. No, I'm not. Because I still realise that my spelling is as bad as when I was a 17-year-old. So some things you don't learn.
Did you think that Susie Dent released a book, or she was going to, and they had to pull it because it had do you know who Susie Dent is, don't you?
Remind me, that's a very familiar name.
She's an incredibly clever lady who does, Countdown.
Oh, yeah, Countdown. Yeah.
Who sits there with the dictionary. But I'm sure it wasn't Susie's fault, but there were so many spelling mistakes, they had to pull the book and it's gone for another edit.
Oh, no, that's so embarrassing. That's so embarrassing. And luckily...
You're a crayon eater.
Mate, to be honest, I enjoyed it. And my fictional book is... I've written out. I don't even know what it's called yet. I'm probably going to aim for a spring. I'll tell you, it could be a complete and utter disaster because I've never written a novel before, but it was fun doing, and it contains pretty much, what Farms and Fatals was pretty much lots of little stories and things. And I realised there was just as many, but right, that's it. Look at this. What's that? Don't encourage her.
What was your favourite colour crayon, Harry?
What to taste? Definitely lemon.
One.
But all these stories in this fictional thing, so you've got a theme going through it, but they're all legit. I couldn't have made them up, you know. But by making it fiction, I can put it where I like. Involve the characters; they're all real. They're absolutely genuine characters. I have not had to make them up.
Included? Do they know they're included?
No. Well, a lot of them are from 20 years ago. It's set in about 1994. The white shirts, the black trousers, the clip-on ties, and the leather gloves on the back pocket, the blue NATO jumpers. Do you remember those days? Yeah. Worry, brilliant. Oh yeah, and firearms I was on ring net, round net ones, not the V.
No, you can have the V one. You're way too important for a V-neck.
2.9 litre van. Ragging it around Torquay. No, but this one set in Cornwall, and it's just a load of the stuff that the jobs we get up to and things that go on, and a bit of fun. See how it goes. About spring maybe.
I've seen some of your reviews on Amazon. Do you think those people will be buying the book?
I don't know. Well, I've got my very first review on there still, because there were 12 helpfuls, and all these people. You sods, you're going to bless them even more. It means it's the top one. I've got 1 out of 5. 1 out of 5 is the first review, and all the others are like 5 out of 5, 5 out of very, very, very favourable, and I appreciate it very much.
Just an appeal. If anybody's read, or even if you haven't read Harry's book, go on to Amazon and click helpful on the nice reviews, because it's a flipping.
Do you know what though? I don't think it makes a difference, but it's a little pang every time you see it. And to be honest, it wasn't even. I looked at the guy who did it, and I thought, does he put 1 on everything? And he does. He puts 5 out of 5 on most of them.
He doesn't like you, does he?
He genuinely didn't like my book. And he was very indifferent. He said, it's just, I'm sure he was a good cop and all that. And he gave me 1 out of 5, a little song. But anyway, 4.7 out of 5 is my average over about 450 of them now. So that's good. And what about yours? Is pretty impressive, mate. Yours has been around now for
But don't talk about reviews, because some of my Wallies are probably watching this and they'll be right, I'm going to give him 1 star.
Well, this is it. This is what happens. Although I believe Amazon have an algorithm that looks out for that. Suddenly, loads of people give you 1 out of 5. They go, they go. So that was quite good.
I'll let you know
anyway.
Later. So yeah, I would like to write another book. Let me know what you think I should write a book about. There we go. Should it be more about Finn? Should it be a fiction? Should it be dog training? What should it be? There you go. There's a challenge for you.
And here's something. Everyone, when people are told to do something, they do the opposite. So they go, Demeter, do not buy this book, whatever you do. Don't do it. Don't do it. Nobody, don't do it. Your life will stop. You'll be engrossed into it so much, you won't want to come out the other end of it, is all I'm saying. Yeah. But enough about books. Do a kid's book, please. That would just be an autobiography again.
You know what? I've got 2 or 3 ideas for kids' books. Watch this space. Who knows?
It's my colouring book again, isn't it?
Yeah. Harry, do a crayon colouring in book.
Free set of crayons. It's the free set of crayons on every book that were costing too much to produce, so I couldn't do it in the end. Yeah. And I kept nibbling the edges.
Yeah, that's it.
A little bit like, I remember when I was 5, my mum gave me a big bar of chocolate to give to my teacher. I think it was for Christmas or something. And I thought she wouldn't notice if I unraveled it slightly and nibbled around the edges. I still remember that.
Take the top row off. No one will know.
Does that sound like a door knock there? No.
What, your end?
Yeah, your end.
Oh, I don't know. No. Gosh. We would have erupted in German Shepherd barking. So I think we're pretty safe.
Oh, what's this? Ask me to a crayons. No, they keep moving up. Here we keep moving up. This is the one I meant. The girls should write a book, Dave, as they are so talented.
Yeah. Well, Tia would really like to write a dog training book. She loves her dog training. She's going to be way better than me. And I'm sure there's people sat out there saying, well, that won't be hard. She's going to be way better than me at dog training. And she has a real passion for it. And she's a real natural. So, yeah, maybe she should write a kids dog training stroke trick book.
It's lovely to see kids that are you can see where they're going to go, and it's lovely to have that, because I always had that. I wanted this. So life was easier. It wasn't like, I got to make up my mind soon. Yeah,
she's got a passion at 10 years old. I didn't have anything at 10 years old. I had no drive. I had nothing. It was rubbish.
Well, I knew I had to become a terrorist or a police officer with my bomb making. I was doing at 10. So I was so.
In the book, if you haven't read his books, in the book, read the book. Bombs.
Yeah. Honestly, it was the second time I was cycling to A&E with massive amount of blood loss. They went, fallen off your bike again, have you? Yeah. Could you grab that piece of metal out of my shin, please?
Why are you covered in black powder, Harry?
With a little white.
Yeah.
Look. There you go. Tia's an absolute legend. I was more excited about meeting Tia than I was Dave. So sorry, not sorry.
Don't worry, I'm fine. Well, as if by magic, are you coming up?
Hey.
It's not Finn, it's Maxie. Oh no, she's going. No, she doesn't want to come on. She's off. There are 6 dogs here, and none of them are anywhere near me. It's possibly because dinner is being cooked.
Okay. And so I think it should be a mixture. Oh, there we go. Oh,
now they're all here. You go from they're like buses. They come along all at once.
Oh, there's an ear. Oh, look at that.
She is a sweetie, aren't you?
They are, and they say they don't look like their owners look.
I know. Look at that. She's gone now because you insulted her saying she looked like me.
So, Dave, you should write a book about how the next steps of Finn's Law have affected you and many other people, as well as behind the scenes of Finn's Law. I told you, if you told the truth, mate, you probably might have to leave your job, wouldn't you? As well as how Finn is enjoying his retirement, the training that you do.
Remember when Salman Rushdie wrote that book and he had to go into hiding and under...
Yeah.
That would be me. I'd have an armed guard on the front door.
My God, yeah, they need to keep you employed. I mean, there's nothing there. I'm exaggerating. They'll start getting paranoid now, but yeah, they need to keep you employed as long as possible, so you don't release the all tell.
I know.
The kiss and tell of policing.
I said to someone just the other day, if I knew it was going to, and don't get me wrong, I'm very proud of what we've done, but if I knew we'd have to go through everything we went through, and that includes just recovering from Finn's injuries and witnessing that and stuff like that, if I could go back to that moment when I had to make that decision, knowing what I know now, would I make that decision or would I make that decision? I would go with the route that meant I could have gone home that night with Finn safely and not have to go through any of that.
Yeah.
And not have anything to worry about other than whether I had a bag of dog food.
Well, mate, you and I have had some phone calls, haven't we? And there's been some pretty low moments, hasn't there, generally? And it's just about what people have said and what they assume, and it's all complete rubbish. I know you very well, Dave. And
enjoy stirring the pot. I think some people wake up in the morning and think, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to be really mean," and I don't get it because I'm not like that.
Or they think it's just too true. It's too good, rather. It's too good. Therefore, you must have another agenda, and that is it. So which one's got
my agenda is to go camping with Harry.
Which one's got the drink problem, though, Lynn? Harry, Dave, and
I'm going to have a beer and a glass of wine after this. Not at the same time. So
yeah. You don't want to.
It's me. I've got the drink problem.
Yeah,
I don't have a drink problem. I drink. I get drunk.
Yay! Right, 30 years ago. Do you know what? It's always risky when there's lots of writing. Someone's going to set me up for this once.
Yeah.
I start reading them. I haven't vetted it all. I should vet it first. Jude, what have we said? 34 yeyears ago. Jude, by the look of you, you don't look 34. Oh, no, it's a black Labrador. Okay. I applied to the Vic Police at 18. Oh, right. A Corona of all things. They told me to go and get some life experience. Wow. Okay. 34 years old. Applied to the Vic Police. I'm being really stupid here. What's that, Vic Police?
I'm guessing that might be Victoria.
Yeah, Victoria. Okay. I think they told me to go and get some life experience. I became a prison officer. Yes, I got life experience. I also blagged my way through my first 3 years on the job. Oh, I did that for 30 years. Believe me, Jude. Thankfully, I looked way older than I was. Now that's interesting. And I behaved way older. They said to me every week until I was about 35, "Oh, aren't the police getting younger nowadays?" And then it was probably November the 14th, and it stopped overnight. No one ever said it again.
See, I had a tough paper round. That's my excuse. I had a tough paper round when I was a kid, where you would get beaten up. So no one has ever said to me, "Have you got any ID for those packet of cigarettes?"
I couldn't get. In the old days when you didn't need ID to get into a pub or a nightclub, and I had to wait pretty much till I was 21 before I didn't need to take my ID. Babyface, yeah.
I ran into a window when I was 5 years old, so looks have never been my thing with a broken nose.
Well, I had 2 incendiary devices, so I've got a scar on my nose from the scaffolding tube that blew up, and an artery in my leg that went as well. And the nurse couldn't believe it when I went back, and the bandage was absolutely red. She said, "I can't believe how it's not stopped with from just falling off a bike." Jude, I think you're annoying a lot of people now. She was 32 before she was asked for ID in a bar. I think I was 16 when I joined, Harry. This was as a serving military policeman, not great at domestics. Yeah, I can imagine, Carol. But there's some.
I know a few police officers now, absolutely wonderful. No, I know a few military dog handlers as well who are very passionate about what they do.
Yeah, indeed, mate. So people remember 45 minutes from now, pretty much.
Oh, yeah. Out on your doorstep, shine a torch in the sky, go to Blue... Oh, gosh, what was it called? Blue Lamp Foundation. Donate if you can.
Right, subscribe to our new YouTube channel. It's still new, even though it's not quite so new channel, Frontline Chat. We're putting all the Frontline stuff on there, so you can get it. It'll also be on your Spotify stuff, audio side. So if you want to
share it,
mow the lawn in a pouring rain or whatever, then you can
send it to your people. She'll love it.
Yes, indeed. Now I'm gonna end this, guys, with the final thing. I always get this wrong, get it in the wrong order and stuff, but let's go for it. See you next week. Hopefully you might have a guest next week. Sony's, look, there you go, Thin Blue Pool. Look it up, get some stuff. I like the coins. I'll buy a coin.
Yeah, they're cool. Finn's got one too. You can get two, Harry.
Woo! I got a little cabinet when I went to Los Angeles. Picked up a whole load of stuff.
They're massive in America.
Yeah, everything's big in America. Love you lots. See you later, guys.